Manchester United have just beaten Leicester City 2-1 in the FA Cup. We are through to the 5th round. Where do we start with that game? Oh my God. Let me know your thoughts of the game in the comment section, by the way, and also let me know your man of the match. My brain's turned into jelly after watching that. I can barely get my words out. Oh God, where do we start? We won. I mean, I guess that's a positive. Maguire's goal, I'm just watching it back on repeat now. It was like a metre offside. Let's try and start with some positivity though, shall we? Garnacho, I thought was absolutely phenomenal when he came on the pitch. I thought Joshua Zirkzee was decent when he came on the pitch. I thought Patrick Dorgu had an amazing first half. That's the positive out of the way. And we won the game. Everything else, awful. One of the worst games of football I've seen in a long time. Leicester City outplayed us for probably 60 minutes of that game. Garnacho came on and did kind of change it a little bit, but generally, I would say Leicester City, for most of that game, were the better team. Would you all agree? I don't know. It's just frustrating, isn't it? Really, really frustrating. We're not creating enough. We had another first half where we didn't have a single shot on target, which again is just not acceptable at home against Leicester, a team that have lost 7 out of the last 8 games in the Premier League. It's difficult. And the thing which I think frustrated me the most was the fact that Patrick Dorgu, I thought, was absolutely phenomenal in that first half. And maybe that's because the rest of them were so bad. You know, maybe that's me overhyping him a bit, maybe. But compared to the rest of the team, Patrick Dorgu stood out in that first half. And he had an amazing debut, I thought. And then he gets substituted at half-time. Arguably, he was substituted for Garnacho, who did play well. But it just seems a little bit strange that you'd bring off Patrick Dorgu and bring on... Well, it's not strange that Garnacho came on, but it's strange that Patrick Dorgu was substituted. Was it because of an injury? Or was it because of his performance? And the other thing as well, which really, really stood out to me in that game is, why don't we press anymore? Leicester City pressed us for pretty much the whole 90 minutes. Every single time we had the ball, their players were running at us. But Manchester United just don't seem to know how to do pressing anymore. And wasn't that one of the main reasons that we brought Ruben Amorim in? Was because we wanted to see a team that would press and would play on the front foot. And we just don't do that. We give the ball away and we don't then win it back. And it was a scrappy game of football. Really, really scrappy. There isn't really many positives to take from that match, if any. As I said, the only positives I can take was Garnacho had a good game when he came on. Zirkzee I thought was decent when he came on. And I thought Patrick Dorgu was decent in the first half. But other than that, I think it was an awful game of football. It wasn't entertaining. I mean, it got a little bit more entertaining towards the end, to be fair. Maybe I'm being a little bit cynical. But that first half was awful, terrible. And for at least 10 or 20 minutes of the second half, we were terrible as well. And then as Leicester City started to tire, we managed to get a win literally at the last kick of the game that was offside. You know, God knows what would have happened if gone to extra time and penalties. You know, we could have been sat here with a loss. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we're through to the 5th round. How many games is it until the final? Let's have a look. I can never really remember how it works with the FA Cup. Obviously, that was the 4th round. So that was the 4th round. You've got the 5th round, which is on Saturday, the 1st of March. Then you've got the quarterfinal, then the semi-final, then the final. So there's still another 3 games until the final. Yeah, 5th round, quarterfinal, and semi-final. So there's still a relatively long way to go, but I think it's from the semi-final onwards. You're at Wembley, aren't you? And we always seem to perform when we're playing on a bigger stage. So we just have to hope that we play somebody weak in the next round. And I know that sounds a little bit sad, but we have already played Arsenal, who are the second best team in England at the moment, at their home ground and beat them. So I think we deserve a slightly easier draw. And obviously we've just played Leicester, who are obviously a not very good team, but they're still a Premier League side. When you look at some of the other fixtures this weekend, for example, Newcastle played Birmingham, who are a League One side. Liverpool play Plymouth Argyle. Nottingham Forest play Exeter City. So there are some pretty weak. Man City play Leyton Orient. You know, like we could have had a much easier draw than Leicester City. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that makes it acceptable. I'm just saying that hopefully in the next round we get a lesser team at home and hopefully we can win. And I know that's sad to say, but you know, if we draw Man City or Liverpool in the next round, then we're probably going to go out. If we draw Chelsea in the next round, we're probably going to go out. You know, if we draw Aston Villa in the next round, we'll probably go out. If we draw Newcastle in the next round, we'll probably go out. Whereas the further it gets into the competition, I think obviously your chances increase, especially as soon as you get to Wembley, where it's kind of 50-50, the crowd, you know? Whereas if you go to St. James's Park and there's, you know, 5,000 Man United fans and the rest are Newcastle fans, then you've got a slightly weakened chance, don't you? But yeah, I mean, it was a poor game. Poor game. Do I feel bad for Leicester and Ruben Amorim and for Rude? Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's football for you. That's why they brought in VAR, you know, to stop decisions like the Maguire goal. That would have been offside if they had VAR, but they obviously don't have VAR now. I think a draw at the end of 90 minutes would have been fair going into extra time. But that's just how football is sometimes, isn't it? You know, you get decisions that go your way and you get decisions that don't go your way. And today we had a massive decision that did go our way in relation to the Harry Maguire goal. But let's just hope now. We've got 9 days until we play Tottenham in the Premier League. Let's hope that we get as much practice in as possible. I don't really have too much to say, to be honest. You know, I'm not going to sit here for 20 minutes and do a match reaction. I've kind of said what I think, and I think we all think the same thing. It was a poor game. There's not really much positives to take from the game. We're through to the next round, though, and let's hope that we start to pick up some more impressive performances, because at the moment, it is dire. It's really, really dire, and it hasn't got any better since Erik ten Hag left, really. If anything, I think the football's actually worse than it was under Erik ten Hag. And that's saying something. You know, Erik ten Hag received a lot of criticism, but in his first season, he finished third in the Premier League and won the FA Cup. And I'm not criticising Ruben Amorim here. I'm just making a fact. Like, the football at the moment is awful, terrible. The system doesn't really seem to work. Yes, we don't have the specialist players, but you know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Let's try and be positive, I guess. It's very, very hard to be positive, but we have won. We are through to the next round. And, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I am genuinely speechless. But thank you very much for watching anyway. I hope you all have a lovely Friday night. I will be back tomorrow morning, Saturday. So, yeah, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe before you go. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later. Bye for now.